And let's start with what's more likely to happen. Who's more likely to fall out of that first-round bye this weekend, the New England Patriots or the Green Bay Packers?
Well, I'm going with the Green Bay Packers there. I mean, this is the New England Patriots, and they're kind of special, and they know how to win these type of games in this type of situation. It's the Miami Dolphins coming up to the Northeast on a Sunday afternoon, and I don't think that bodes well. Now, listen, I don't necessarily look at the Lions and anything like that and think, oh, yeah, they're going to beat Green Bay, but I guess I think there's more of a chance of that happening than the other one, for sure. Yes, I do. I just can't see New England blowing this opportunity at home this time of the year. They don't do that.
Yeah, I agree with you. 16-point favorites over Miami. And it's one thing to maybe trip over your own shoelaces like they've done in past years. Remember the 2 consecutive division losses on the road in 2015 that forced the Patriots to go to Denver in the AFC Championship game. They still had a bye locked up. There's a huge difference between a bye and playing in the wild card round. The Patriots haven't played in the wild card round since 2009.
Amazing.
That's not about to happen. And the competition not nearly as stiff as it is for the Packers in the NFC. So I agree with you. The New England Patriots, or the Packers, more likely to fall out of a first-round bye. The Patriots more likely to earn it and not play until the divisional round. All right, what's more likely? Christian McCaffrey gets his 1,000 rushing yard, 1,000 receiving yard season. He'll be only the 3rd all-time to do that. Or Jameis Winston becomes the first ever to throw 30 touchdown passes and 30 interceptions.
Well, this is a good one here. I guess more likely is Christian McCaffrey. I think there's a very good chance both of these happen. I mean, I do. I mean, Jameis Winston throwing 2 interceptions is, just a normal day in the park. But it is Atlanta, and they're kind of simple on defense. So I guess I edge on more on Christian McCaffrey. 67 yards receiving the football with a team that's not playing for anything. Norv Turner, very smart. This is not only about, this is on Norv Turner's resume, let alone this is a special thing in the lures of the NFL history. So I think they do their best to get McCaffrey the ball and get the 67 yards receiving.
Roger Craig, Marshall Faulk, the only other ones to ever do it. And it's not all that difficult to engineer a short pass. It's essentially a handoff, right? You can come up with 67 receiving yards fairly easily if you're determined to do it. And that's really all the Panthers are playing for. And I don't know that they really care to win, as evidenced by the fact that they're starting Will Grier at quarterback again. All due respect, I think David Tepper's smart enough to understand that 5-11 is a lot better than 6-10 for draft position. And look, it's not like the Saints have nothing to play for. The Saints still very much alive for a bye as well. So I think the Panthers are going to lose, but I also think McCaffrey's more likely to get his 67 receiving yards. The Falcons only have 10 interceptions all year, which it may make it harder for Jameis to accomplish something he clearly doesn't. That's the difference. Jameis clearly doesn't want his. McCaffrey clearly does want his, which makes his more likely. All right, next topic. What's more likely? Ryan Tannehill continues his career resurgence at Houston, or Tannehill turns back into a pumpkin against the Texans defense?
Well, I'm going career resurgence here all the way. I mean, there's nothing at this point to even make me think otherwise with Ryan Tannehill. I mean, even in the 2 losses, he played really well. I mean, again, last week, there they were up early against the Saints. Then they got down kind of big. And there it was, 31-28 in the middle of the 4th quarter. And you're going, wow, Tennessee's recaptured all the momentum and the Saints are in trouble. Ryan Tannehill throws a strike on the post route. The guy gets hit as he's catching the ball, fumbles, and the game was never the same, and that was it for that. But I think Ryan Tannehill is just feeling it. He's kind of showing everybody what kind of player he is, and they kind of got some mojo on the offensive side of the ball. I think he continues his career resurgent. Plus, Houston, it's kind of an unmotivating circumstance of games for them, too, to where these are the kind of games you don't know who's going to show up as far as what team, and are they going to take it real seriously down in Houston.
And here's the thing. The NFL has done the best job it possibly can to ensure that the games that are interconnected are being played at the same time. But the Texans will know before kickoff whether or not they have anything to gain in the AFC playoff tree.
Right.
Because the Chiefs will have lost, which opens the door for the Texans to move from 4 to 3 and avoid playing the Bills in the wild card round, which I think is very important. Or it won't matter. If the Chiefs beat the Chargers in the 1 o'clock window, then when the 4:25 p.m. Eastern window rolls around, the Texans will know whether or not to put Deshaun Watson anywhere near the field. And that will help the Titans and hurt the Texans. Keep this fact in mind, though. The Titans have not won in Houston since 2011 when they won 23-22 on the first day of January 2012. Now, there's only two guys still on the team, Jarrell Casey and Brett Kern, but the Titans have historically not done well back in the town they used to call home when they were the Houston Oilers. Does that factor in any way for you into this possibility of the Titans going in and winning?
No, it does not. It does not factor at all. I think, I just look at Derrick Henry's health, Tennessee having to play, having to a must-win situation, and Houston having really nothing to play for. Like you said, I don't know. I mean, if you're Houston, even if Kansas City does lose the game, do you want to play Tennessee again the next week? Do you want to play Buffalo? I don't even know the answer to that question.
But if you beat Tennessee, you're most likely not going to see Tennessee, right?
Well,
you're
yes,
going to go to the
right.
3 seed, and the 6 seed's more likely to be the Steelers.
Right, you're right. Yes, you're right. As long as Pittsburgh doesn't lose, you're exactly right, yes.
We came into the season thinking that the Titans would have a decision to make with Marcus Mariota. Franchise tag, transition tag, sign him a new contract, whatever. Now they have that decision to make about Ryan Tannehill. The decision with Mariota is already made. See you later, Marcus. Right. What are they going to do with Tannehill?
I think you ride with him. You go with Ryan Tannehill. For my money, from what we've seen, I mean, again, Tennessee, they're going to be right now in the draft, somewhere between 16 and 20, maybe higher. We don't know. It's going to be hard to get like a big difference-making franchise quarterback. Maybe if they want to draft a quarterback, in the second round, do something like that. But I think you go with Ryan Tannehill. Almost maybe something like like we talked about with a Jameis Winston contract, a 2-year deal where maybe you can get out of it, in a good place after 1 year if you don't like it that way, whatever it may be. But I think you do go with Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill, again, as you and I have known for a few years, it's been much better than what we all perceive it to be. When he's healthy and when he was playing down in Miami, I challenge anybody, go down, look at his win-loss record, his stats, anything like that. It's much more impressive than I was ever aware of, right? I know we had a friend last year that kind of pointed it out to us, and then you dug into the stats a little bit and like the true facts of the matter, and you went like, man, yeah, it really has been a lot of good stretches in Miami, but the injuries were the issue. Him not being able to play in that playoff game because of an injury, it's all led to the perceived notion that he's maybe not as good as he really is, and I think he's kind of showing people this year what he's all about.
And if the Titans don't find a way to keep him off the market, it gets very interesting. I think there would be greater interest by other teams in Tannehill than there would be in Jameis Winston.
I agree, Mike.
If both guys are available.
100%. You could trust Ryan Tannehill, as we've seen. I mean, he doesn't turn the ball over. He's a good athlete. He's a top-notch, accurate thrower of the football and a really good arm too. Again, it's not Aaron Rodgers or Mahomes or Deshaun Watson or an arm like that, but it's still really good. And how many times over the last month or so have we gone, whoa, 40-yard throw on the dime, 50-yard throw, bullseye, 55-yard throw, bullseye. I mean, he's showing that there's a reason he was a top 10 pick in the draft, that there's some traits about his play that is franchise-ish, right? And I think if you're the Tennessee Titans, you go, who else is out there? This is the guy. He's done a lot of good for us. Let's go with him.
I've been trying to gently nudge the horse toward the water so you would come to the conclusion on your own. But what I've been trying to suggest is your old coach, John Gruden, may make a beeline for Ryan Tannehill.
He would be his type of guy. There would certainly be some things there. But I think the biggest thing would Gruden would love Ryan Tannehill's athleticism. That's the thing with Tannehill was recruited to Texas A&M to play wide receiver in the SEC. That means you're running 4.5 and you're some sort of athlete to be doing that. And that's what he is. And he's shown us not only with his big arm here over this stretch, but he can rip off a 20 and 30-yard run when he has to too.
Yeah, look, the Titans, I think, may have to franchise tag him to keep him off the market. I think they're going to catch wind of other teams that have real interest in him. And I think your guy, John Gruden, would. I think anybody who's looking for a starting quarterback has to think about Tannehill. There are some things to be concerned about,
right,
but he addressed a lot of those those questions so far this year.
You're in the boat that the Oakland Raiders are definitely moving on from Derek Carr and going to be trying to find somebody. You are 100%.
Yes. Yeah. And look, maybe they can't find anybody and they just stick with Derek Carr, but they don't have to make the same kind of huge financial decision early. There's a couple million that becomes fully guaranteed in February. So, who cares, right? You'll have offset language in that, and you'll make that money back if he goes somewhere else as a backup. I think they're going to check every possible option. I don't think they're going to go the draft. John Gruden's not a guy that wants to groom a rookie. He wants a savvy and sage and experienced veteran that he can turn into another Rich Gannon.
Yeah.
And I think Tannehill would be the best candidate for that.
Yeah, well, I do think there is some true positives about Ryan Tannehill, what he can be. There's no doubt. Yeah, I guess I'm still a little bit in the air with the Derek Carr thing. Just like I still feel like it's 50-50. I have no inside knowledge of that or anything like that. I guess if you made me go, okay, Chris, you got to bet if Derek Carr is going to be on the Raiders next year or not. I think I probably lean towards more of what you're saying, like 55%. He won't be there. 45% he will be there. The big question again is right. Who's there to be had? And I think there's certain quarterbacks that John Gruden only has an eye towards. He wants that electric, athletic. He can move around and do stuff like that when there's nobody open and my plays didn't get anybody open in the pass game. I want a guy who can get me out of jail as far as making a play, extending a play, running, scrambling, throwing on the run, doing all those things. And that's going to be the big thing. Who is that guy? And maybe you're right, Mike. Tannehill might be the closest thing to that this year on the market if he does get on the market.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.